So the day is finally here. I'm excited about this. Today I'm going to try and attempt to remove the engine from the car.
Rob Stone, 2 damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
This will be the biggest task that I've taken on as far as modifying any cars or building any cars. I do my own maintenance, but this is really serious for me. So I'm going to get started by getting the car up, getting all the fluids out. I have to drain the oil, transmission fluid, coolant. I have to drain the power steering fluid. So there's a lot to be done. It's a Sunday afternoon and it's starting to get late. So I want to get right to work and not waste any time. As far as you guys, I probably won't shoot everything. I want to make sure that I do get some updates in here for you. But being that this is such a long process, I don't want to waste time with filming. I want to make sure I can get the engine out today so that this week when parts start coming in, I can start the disassembly process and get everything together. I'm using the Harbor Freight Special engine stand and Harbor Freight Special engine hoist. What I did was I gave Harbor Freight a call this morning to see if I could get some replacement parts. A guy by the name of Adam helped me out, gave me new parts, measured them to make sure they would work. It was still off a little bit when I came in. I put it all together, but it's all up, working. Well, it goes up and down. I'll let you know when I pull the engine if it works. I ended up having to Dremel this hole out a little bit to give me a little more clearance. It was probably still about 1/4 of an inch off, even with the new pieces. So I went ahead and Dremeled that out. Hopefully it doesn't void my warranty. You can't really tell from the outside. Can't really see it at all on either side, but I Dremeled those out to make sure I had enough room to get this bolt through. Put all the rest of the engine hoists together. The hydraulic pump works. It goes up and down. And then I also have a leveler so that when I'm pulling the engine I can pull it out level. So at this point we have the car up on all jacks. It's level all the way around.
What's next?
That's a good question. Now we got to get all the fluids drained and make sure that we don't have anything in the engine so that when I pull it I'm not leaking all over my garage. Next up, draining the transmission. Here's the drain bolt here. It takes a 3/8 inch drive socket. It just fits right in there. You don't need any tools to use it, just a 3/8 inch drive wrench. Next up, I need to drain the coolant. There should be a drain bolt on the bottom of the radiator. I don't see one on this radiator. I see this wing nut. So I'm going to try unscrewing this here and seeing if that's what's going to drain my radiator. And while the fluids are all drained out, only thing left to drain would be the power steering fluid. I looked through the manual and I looked through the other book that I had, and neither of them really give you a definitive way to how to drain the power steering fluid. So what I'm going to do is just start unhooking stuff, and keep my oil pan bucket underneath the power steering, and if something starts to drain out, it'll be there to catch it. Also, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery. I've already taken the hood off of the car, so we're good to start working and pulling things apart. Next, I'm going to try to get this power steering pump out. There's some things in here that I wanted to remove. I wanted to make sure I get the compressor hose removed. I want to get the power steering pump removed. I'm most likely going to remove the cruise control. I don't see myself taking this cross country, so there's no need for cruise control, and this will clean up the engine bay quite a bit. So I'm going to start unbolting all of this, and then I'm going to unhook all the electrical connectors, and I should be ready to pull the engine after releasing the mounts. I'm going to go ahead and get this radiator out of here, just disconnect the hoses. I did drain it, but there will still be coolant in the engine. There's coolant in the block. So if something comes out, I have my drain bucket underneath it here so I can catch it if it drips. Next I'm going to try to remove these header bolts. This is probably the most dangerous part of this because these are notorious for breaking, and then you'll have to drill out your block. Or your cylinder head, I'm sorry. So I'm going to be very careful. I've already hit them with PB Blaster. I hit them with PB Blaster last night and let them sit, and just before I started taping today, I hit them with PB Blaster again. So I'm going to try to get these off. I think they're 12 millimeters, and see if we can get those busted. Alright, at this point I've removed the exhaust header. I dropped it I removed the exhaust header and the downpipe. After removing the bolts on the head, there was this bolt down here that was connected to the heat shield, and it was preventing me from removing the exhaust header. I ended up moving the entire thing all the way down to the downpipe so that I could get the O2 sensor out. And then here's the gasket. I actually want to leave that on there because I don't want to mar the surface of the mating surface. So yeah, I'll show you. Got the O2 sensor out and the exhaust manifold bolts and downpipe bolts. Here's the old exhaust manifold. This is junk. I hate these cast iron manifolds. I have a cheap one coming because my plans for the car, I won't need this one or the cheap one. So I just ordered something so that I can break the engine in after I rebuild it. Power steering pump is removed. Cut the belt to get it out of there. Cleans this area up quite a bit. And I think when I put the headers on there, it wouldn't have fit anyway, so it's a good deal for me. Let me know if you want a power steering pump because I have it and I won't be using it. I'll come back tomorrow and drop the axles, and that'll be all. Start pulling the engine. So look forward to seeing it, and we'll catch you next time.
Rob Stone, 2 damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code. Used to